Joe, what?
Three, two, one, let's go. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Oh, it took us what, like 20?
Reset the fucking clock. Joe, tell us about what were you gonna talk about now?
I'm going to talk about some mangas
Yeah, yeah,
that I
that's
was
it.
following. That am one of which I am still following, and I'm surprised I'm still following, and the other one am no longer following because it got canceled. So we're going to talk about those two real quickly, and what I think they're doing right, and how I think one of them failed, and so on and so forth. So the first one we're going to start off with the one that I'm still following.
Yeah.
Which is
Okay. The first one I'm following is I have to find the Mission Yozakura family. This is one that I showed Willer. I told Willer, I was just like, I'm gonna follow this and I'm gonna see how far I can go before it can get canceled.
That's the
Because
one where the girl is in a spy family, right?
correct. So the premise of it is basically a young man. I think his name's Tayana, something like that. I I'm terrible with names, so it doesn't matter anyways. Um, he's best friends with this girl, and she is part of a spy family that's been spies for generations, and they're like the best of the best, and so on and so forth. And the eldest brother of this family is like overly protective of her, and it's super weird. Even the sister's just like, "You're a big fucking weirdo. You need to stay away from me." Kind of weird. Um, and so he ends up joining the family in order to not die from this older brother killing him because he gets super jealous that they hang out all the time. So
I read the first chapter or two. It was a really weird setup to get him into this situation.
yeah, and what kind of gave me like what piqued my interest about when I first read this chapter, or when I first read this series was, so his name's Asano. Okay, so his name's Asano. So Asano is orphaned. Like he survives this horrendous car crash where he's the only person that lived in his entire family of his like direct immediate family. He's by himself. So he feels just like he can't be close to anybody because he's afraid they're all going to die again and just leave him, except for Mitsumi, who is this girl in the spy family,
His
basically.
childhood friend.
Yeah, his childhood friend. And I thought, like, man, what a great idea. You have this character that feels like he can't connect to anybody except for this one person. But in order for him to survive, he has to learn to be a part of this family that's like really tight knit and connected and like gets along with each other and has a common interest between all of them.
Joe,
Like,
real quick, what's the
yeah.
over under that car crash was caused by a rival assassin family?
Um,
Or Winter Soldier style. What's
like,
the chance?
uh, God, like immediately reading that first chapter, like 0% because it doesn't make any sense. But now, just like it's probably closer to like maybe 60% because there's probably going to be some bullshit about him being actually like a hidden spy master and whatnot.
I mean, the
Yeah,
quality seemed to infer this.
yes, but but I like the idea of this guy loses his entire family and basically gets adopted into this other family by marriage. By the way, he marries his childhood friend because that's the only way he could be part of the family officially. Um, and the rest of the family, except for the elder brother, is on board. They're like, yeah, we're gonna take care of him. We're gonna train him, and we're gonna make him a spy just like us. The thing about it is, this manga series has gone through like a roller coaster with me in terms of how I've enjoyed it. You know,
Mm.
like that first chapter, I was like, it's like cool. I see the potential. I see the premise. Let's do it. I can see the conflict that's arising here, and you got some good jokes, awesome in there. So yeah, like let's get to it. And then, man, it goes. And then at one point, it just falls for me. I'm just like, what is happening?
What makes it stop working for you?
So like the whole point is that they have to get him like as part of the family, and so they start focusing on having him do spy training and being like as good a spy as they are, so that he that's how they connect into the family. But there's never any actual like character moments for a while between him and the other members of the family.
Mm.
Like you would think that like for a
Yeah.
while he goes on a mission with like every single one of them. He gets to know them a little more. He gets to know like their like style and what they do good at. But like that's only happened like 2 or 3 times in the. I think we're at chapter 15 now,
Mm.
and
I I want like I could see them trying to reinforce the main character by himself, but I feel like a good way to reinforce your main character could be bouncing him off different personalities. So yeah,
and
I'm with
also that
you.
that plays into like that dynamic of like he is forced to make friends with these family members, and more than like being friends, like he has to actually get close to them, you know,
Hmm.
like he has to actually love them as much as they love his now wife and so forth, so he's a part of this family. And I just feel like it's a big like miss in terms of its theming and trying to like it's like you could have just done something really cool about this, about like family dynamics and like adjusting to your in-laws and all this other cool stuff. And then it just becomes like this weird like, let's skip the part of Reborn where he does all the montage training,
Hmm.
and instead let's just get right to the part where he's pretty good at what he does, and then we just have the rest of it be like episodic kind of chapters.
Oh, they skipped that much of his progress?
Yeah, they're like, all right, like after like 2 or 3 chapters of training, he's like, all right, he can go on missions. He does a really good mission, and now he's well renowned within the spy, um, like society kind of thing. You're
Ugh.
just like, oh, okay. But that being said, like when I read them, like I don't have a bad time. Like I think there's some funny jokes in there. I think there's some good comedy, and there's a little bit of heartfelt moments. Like the chapter I read today was really good, I thought, but it's just it's not remarkable as I thought it could be. And I feel like it really dropped the ball in its potential.
But
But
it
yeah,
hasn't been canceled yet,
it
right?
hasn't been canceled yet. But we haven't reached chapter 20 yet, so that might be why.
Mm. Let me know how that goes. I'm interested.
Yeah, I will. So the other one that I read that did get axed, and its last chapter I think was about last week I think was its last chapter, November 24th, was Double Taisei. And man, I was like, man, this seems like a great idea for a premise. And once again, just doesn't use its potential at all in the end, and it made me really upset.
Mm.
So basically, the idea is there's this guy named Taisei Tendo. He is like a shogi prodigy. He's in high school, and right now he's entering the tournament to like become a pro player of shogi. So like once he does that, he's basically like set in the shogi world, and he can start playing tournaments and stuff like that. The thing about Taisei is that he has two personalities, Tai and Sei.
Okay.
I believe I can't remember which one is which. I'll have to look it up. But I believe Tai is awake in the day, and Sai is awake at night. And the thing is Tai is the one that's competing for these championships. You know, he's the one that's doing all the shogi stuff, while Sai is like off in the night world doing his own thing, like trying to make his own mark in the world in the first chapter. But then they get into an accident, and their personalities flip schedules. Where now,
Okay.
where now Sai is in the day and Tai is at night.
Is that how you get those weird panels where like weird shit is happening because the night personality is just an oddball?
Yeah, because he doesn't interact with anybody during the day, basically, because he's always lit at night. But the thing is Sai, who's the person at night, is better at shogi than Tai is.
Hmm.
So like there could have been this whole great thing about this conflict of like Sai like realizing something that Tai always knew, which is that he was the better shogi player, and then having like really try understand like where he's supposed to be, and then Tai dealing with like like I can't be that anymore, what do I do now? But like that once again never happens. It's just really weird like metaphors for playing shogi. I think the comic is really funny at times. Like there are some really like crazy out of context panels I would paste and send to y'all.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
I have a question, Joe. How's
Yeah.
the shogi? Is it interesting? Is it easy to follow?
Um so you never actually see like full shogi matches. It's more of like shogi is a way of them
Mm.
of their way of like expressing their like perceptions of the world, you know?
Yeah.
Because he meets all these other players, or like one of the players is like, "Oh, I just need to like take several different pieces of all the best people in the world, and then I can be the best person." And then there's another player that like sees everything like analytically, like that's how you have to view the world. There's another person that's like everything's determined by fate. I've already won this match. No matter what you do, you're gonna lose. Like,
I
like
love sports shonen.
yeah,
They're great.
but I thought that was interesting. And then like you have like interesting ways of like showing shogi without it just being the moving tiles. You have these conversations about uh what the world is like. The problem being is like the author tries too hard to like plot twist everything like really badly.
Mm.
um like there's a point where like you know how like in manga there's like you have the black outlines that show you that it's a flashback.
Yeah.
he he presents as a flashback, and then you find out at the end of the arc that it was actually a flash forward but also happening at the same time, and it's just
Okay,
it
you
was,
had me at flash forward. I was like, hey, that's pretty neat, but what?
yeah. Anyways, this goes on for 27 chapters. It ends with a really dumb ending. Like it's the ending he probably wanted to end with, and the ultimately in the end, but like it just doesn't make sense.
How does it work? Like, so tell me, like, the last 3 chapters, how was the flow and what was the ending there?
So, oh God, the manga falls apart like at chapter 16 or so.
Okay,
Like,
so it had a long time to be falling apart. Then.
yeah. So like at chapter 16 may have been like chapter 16 or 17. Like there's a point where like I was like, man, this is really good. This is going on pretty well. And then we get into this part where like he's talking to this guy that has like this family line of fate, and he's going to kill himself after he beats this guy at shogi, and it it doesn't make any sense. And I'm just like, what am I reading? Why is it like it just it really felt like the author kind of fumbled in what he was trying to do at this point, and realized that like, oh, basically through the entirety of this tournament, and I don't know what to do afterwards, kind of thing. Like he wasn't setting up for anything after this. It really felt like.
Maybe he knew.
Yeah, he probably knew.
Well,
But
it's a good thing Joe's announcing live on the podcast that he's going to catch up with Act Age. Woo!
but the ending ends with Taisei Tendo being locked up in this monitored room so that Tai and Sai can play for the championship match because they're two different people, and it's supposed to last for 2 months or something like that.
Oh, so they make one turn each day-night cycle?
Yes.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah. And I just I don't know. It like I was really on board with the premise of this, and then it just really fell off.
Joe.
Like, yeah.
Act Age, come on, man. You gotta give it. Joe, Act Age is one of our only popular videos, and I am dying to talk about it with you.
I'll say Act Age got a following, man.
Gotta say though, only chapters 1 through 6 are on Viz until
You just gotta push through. I did it. You can do it. Come on, buddy. Join me.
I think I'm at chapter 23.
Oh, you're getting there.
Ugh.
Are they still in the Death Island arc?
No, she's at the stage play now.
Oh, the stage play is so fucking good. All right, we'll talk about that next week when Joe catches up. Everybody clap. Woo!
No. But yeah, don't read either of these mangas. I'm just gonna say that. Oh, also, Thomas Security Spirit Busters. I read the first chapter. That it's garbage. Don't read it. I just no.
Woo!
I don't think it's good.
There you go. Joe reviews.
Yep.